Hello, so we're back and we are going to be learning how to do a half double crochet today. So I'm going to start with a little foundation chain here, not too big, that way I can show you how to turn a few times. So we are going to be starting on the back side of our foundation chain, and for half double crochet we start in the second back bump from the hook. So for half double you yarn over, so you have 2 on your hook, you go into that second back bump, draw up your loop, so you have 3 loops on your hook, and then kind of hold it with your thumb and your middle finger a little bit to kind of create that gap there. Hold your hook down so you can slide through nice and easily. Make sure your tension's not too tight, and pull through all 3 loops just like that. And that's your first one. So you yarn over, find your next back bump right there, turn your hook sideways so you can get through it a little bit easier, hook that yarn, pull it through so you have 3 loops on your hook again, yarn over, create that tunnel, hook nice and down, and slide through all 3. We're going to do it again and again, all the way down the line, so as many chains as you have on your hook. Back bump, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And this makes kind of a taller single crochet, so if you've got a project that is you want to go a tiny bit faster but you don't want all those holes from the double crochet, half double is great because it's nice close together stitches, but you don't have the holes. You can't see the table or my hand through it. So now we're going to turn. So this was my slip knot that I made when I started my foundation chain, and as you can see I have one more loop through here. Right, so the way I finish my foundation row chains or stitches is I go through that last one. I don't pull it tight and make a knot because I don't like big knots in my work and they kind of ruin the texture. So pull through all 3, and then I give it a slight little tug so that it looks just like the rest of my foundation row. And then as you can see, you have a nice evenly looking chain here where the bottom looks just like the top and nobody can tell where you started. So in order to turn, you chain 1, turn your work, and for half double you work it the same way as a single crochet, so you go into that very first hole. So you find your front and your back loop and you're going through both of them. So go through both the front and the back loop, yarn over so that you have 3 on your hook, yarn over, and pull through those 3. So let's do it again. Yarn over. I kind of tend to hold my loops with my thumb to kind of keep them steady. And then front and back loop through both of them. Draw up your yarn so that you have 3 on your hook. Yarn over. Use that thumb and middle finger to help you open up the tunnel there. Keep your hook down and slide through both. Now if you're having trouble getting through all those 3 loops on your half double crochets, I'm going to show you a trick that I showed my daughter who was having a problem. Her tension's very tight and she was having trouble getting through that middle loop because it was getting too tight on her hook. So this is how I showed her how to get through if your tension is still way too tight, and but you still want to do the stitch. So you're going to take your hook, you yarned over, you have your 3 on here, and we're going to go through just one at a time, nice and loosely. So you get through the 1, right? Then work your way through the second one, and then work your way through, all the way through, until you only have 1 loop on your hook. And that is, I mean, it's the same as going through all 3 at once. It's just breaking it down one more step so that it's a little easier when you're first getting started and your tension is still really tight and those loops are hard to get through. So again, if your tension's too tight, don't loop it through too many fingers. Try and just lay it over 1 finger. That way you're not gripping it and tensing all your fingers trying to concentrate, but you can go through 1 at a time and just kind of gently pull it through. Go slow, make sure they're all turning out the way you want, and you'll speed up eventually. So it looks like we're at the end, but we're not. So the way you can tell is if you turn your work sideways, you can see that there is a front and a back loop here. That tells you you have not gone far enough. You want to keep going until when you turn your work like this, you don't see a front and a back loop. So we have 1 more to do. So we yarn over, we go through the front and the back loop, draw it up, pull through all 3, and now when we turn sideways, we don't see a big front and back loop, right? And we know that we reached the end. You chain 1, you turn, yarn over, go through that first hole, and there you go, pull through. You'll just do that over and over again. We should get to the end here. I'm going to speed up just a little bit, just so I can show you how to find that last one, because when you're going back and forth and you're turning your rows, it's really easy, especially when you're first beginning, to not find that last one. So you get to here, you turn it up, you see that first where we turned, that front and back loop tends to want to sit behind a little bit. So you're going to have to kind of turn and look and find that back. See that right there? That V, that's your last stitch. So you're going to want to go through that. And then always when you're starting, you'll want to count. So if you start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then your next row you should end with 5. So we chain 1, we turn it, yarn over through that very first hole, right, and you pull through, yarn over through the next stitch, pull up, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, yarn over into the next stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. And that's your half double. So we're at the end again, and I'm going to show you how to find that last stitch one more time, and then you're on your own. So you're at the end. You can kind of see how your stitches are starting to kind of line up. Kind of turn it sideways. See where that last one is. You can also see these twists down here. You can see that there's still one that hasn't been worked into. See, this one has this stitch. This one has that stitch. So this one Needs one right there for us to finish. And there you go. Another row of half double crochet.